Hey guys, welcome back to Smart Wallet and Me, where financial wisdom matters. In today's video, I want to do another update on Alibaba and tell you guys what's going on. Today, the stock took a very large hit again. We can see right here that the stock has dropped about 8.23% to $266.57. It just keeps going down as I'm talking, but it has took a very big nosedive. And the support level right now is at around 176.92, which brings us down to almost the March levels when we hit the pandemic and the coronavirus environment. Just to give you guys a little brief history, Ant Group's IPO has been suspended as of right now because of the meeting that Jack Ma had with the 4 regulators in China. And they were basically trying to raise up an IPO of $34.5 billion, worth more than Saudi Aramco's record $29.4 billion. And so far, this has been suspended as of right now. According to Ant Group's own summation after the Shanghai IPO suspension, the reasons Chinese regulators gave were that the listing may not meet listing qualifications or disclosure requirements due to material matters relating to the regulatory interview of our ultimate controller, our executive chairman, and our chief executive officer by the relevant regulators, and the recent changes in the fintech regulatory environment. The meeting referred to in that statement happened on November 2, when 4 top Chinese financial regulators met in person with Ant founder and biggest stakeholder Jack Ma, Ant executive chairman Eric Jing, and Ant CEO Simon Hu. Ant's November 2 statement after that meeting was vague, and they made a very vague comment. They said that views regarding the health and stability of the financial sector were exchanged. Ant Group is committed to implementing the meeting opinions in depth and continuing our course based on the principles of stable innovation, embrace of regulation, service to the real economy, and win-win cooperation. Well, guess what? That meeting went poorly because the very next day, Ant's listing on Shanghai Star Market was completely suspended. The news broke out. Jack Ma's comment on October 24th with the Chinese finance officials didn't go well. That meeting didn't go well because Ma said that they have a pawn shop mentality. And this was no new concept. Chinese officials have been in push and pull with Chinese fintech companies for years. Another issue that came up was that Ant was spun out of Alibaba in 2014, and its best known product is Alipay, the biggest mobile payment apps in China. But the growth engine of Ant is its credit division, which offers a credit card as well as micro loans without collateral through Alipay. That division has grown rapidly over the last year and now makes up 40% of Ant's group revenue. It disclosed in its IPO documents. The attractiveness of the IPO was Ant's lending business, not its payments app. And that's where the problem really lies, because the Chinese government sees it as functioning like a bank and wants to regulate it like a bank instead of a tech company. In June, leading up to the IPO, it dropped the word financial from its name in an obvious attempt to rebrand it as a tech company and ward off financial regulators, and it didn't work. This shows that the Communist Party government has become erratic and unpredictable. I think it's a warning to Chinese fintech and to all Chinese private business people. The Communist Party can reach out and make your life quite miserable, and they're willing to prevent the change that needs to occur if China is going to have a modern economy and was changing the way people borrow money. This is much bigger than Ant. The Ant IPO suspension was also a warning shot at TenCent, whose WeChat Pay competes with Alipay and other Chinese tech firms. So TenCent is also going to be on the line here, and they may also be going through some regulations and maybe being cut off or suspended if they have another IPO coming out. China's government-backed digital currency, which it began testing in October, is also a warning shot at Ant and TenCent because it could undermine use of Alipay and WeChat Pay. And all of this is happening amidst a much broader and intensifying anti-monopoly crackdown by the Chinese government on large Chinese tech companies. The question for Ant now is whether and when its IPO can still happen. Ant in a statement sounds determined to make it work, and they said, quote, "We will keep in close communications with the Shanghai Stock Exchange and relevant regulators and wait for their further notice with respect to further developments of our offering and listing process and disclose in a timely manner. However, for now, Ant must return funds to investors and watch its valuation fall dramatically. Shares of Alibaba, which has a 33% stake in Ant, are down 11% since the IPO suspension. Also, I just read that a clampdown on Chinese internet and technology giants would not be surprising in the global context. The US Justice Department and 11 states filed an antitrust lawsuit against Alphabet's Inc. Google last month for allegedly breaking the law in using its market power to fend off rivals, according to a Reuters report. It marks the biggest antitrust case in a generation, comparable to the lawsuits against Microsoft filed in 1998 and the 1974 case against AT&T. The new draft guidelines is the first clear sign that Beijing is seeking to curtail the expanding prowess of its homegrown tech champions, analysts said, as they provoked increasing controversies in recent years regarding their labor and market practices. So guys, it appears that these companies, Alibaba, WeChat, and even the US companies, are going through some scrutiny by regulators, and they're trying to clamp down on them to decide whether they're going to be considered as a bank or a tech company and not to have any kind of monopoly over the market. And this clampdown has brought a lot of negative news, and especially for Alibaba, because their IPO was suspended and the money has to be returned back to investors. But the good news is that Alibaba is trying to work it back so that they can meet those qualifications. But it is yet to be seen what's going to happen in the future. But for now, the price keeps going down, and the current momentum is at negative 42. The money flow is at 34 on the 1-day interval. But if we look at the 30-minute interval, we can see that the money flow is at 30 and the momentum is at negative 26, and the stock really took a large hit with an 8.37% drop. So guys, let me know, what do you think about this stock, if you guys own it or if you don't own it, if you think this stock is going to go higher or not. Please let me know, leave your comments down below, and I would appreciate it if you guys would give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for more updates, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching.